There we are. Yay! And we have sound. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to one of the most powerful new moons of this entire year in Scorpio. And it is dark outside in Los Angeles, California, and it's raining. We have had a week of rain, but we needed it. And so I'm happy to see you guys. Thank you. I had to wear something kind of sexy tonight because it's Scorpio and we got to be in the vibes and we got to be in the mood. So yes, we are live. If you can't see me, refresh the page. And so we're live. If you're watching the replay later, super stoked you're here. The new moon is my favorite moon phase of them all. You know, she waxes and she wanes and she's new and she's full and she's everything in between. But the new moon is our cosmic clean slate, right? It's where we kind of start over every month. And I like that idea. I guess I like new beginnings, and it's never too late to have a new beginning. So thank you. I'm glad you're here. Yay. I've got my new moon drum. So anybody new, by the way, to Sage Goddess, to moon ceremonies, to anything that we do? We do two things at the new moon that we don't do in this way any other time of the year, or time of the month, I should say. We release energy that isn't serving us, and we set intentions for what we want to call in and experience. So no, you are right on time. You are in the right place. I love it. Sue's like, it's my first with you. So welcome in. Hopefully it won't be your last. I've been doing moon ceremonies live for 14 years, and it's kind of the centerpiece of the work that I do in the world. Sage Goddess was created in my third eye, my mind's eye, at a new moon 15 years ago, which is really crazy. In fact, it'll be 16 years ago in the spring that Sage Goddess was an intention that I set. So I always say, careful what you wish for, right? My intention was to bring moon ceremonies to people around the world so that we could gather clear energy, raise energy, and co-create our lives, right, through the intention setting process. So I'm super glad, and I'm glad you're in Living University. If you're not in my online programs yet, it is not too late to register, by the way. We've got a beautiful journey happening next week in next week's class, and we're learning a lot. So you can always go to sagegoddess.com and learn more. By the way, there's a new moon kit for next month at sagegoddess.com with a custom oracle deck. Isn't this cool? It's been a long time since we brought you a new oracle deck. This is for the new moon in Sag next month. The kit's really limited, and I'm going to be doing readings. You can read for yourself. It also comes with your candle. It comes with a gorgeous sphere, and I'm doing little crowns now as sphere stands. I thought that was very appropriate for Sagittarius. And then it comes with your body mist. This is also all called Rebel Soul, Sage Goddess Rebel Soul, and flash tattoos. So this is at sagegoddess.com. Remember that if you're a student in my programs, you have until midnight tonight to shop. Any purchase enters you to win that wand, which is incredible. And then if you're not my student and you shop before midnight, I have something for you too. Here it is. I have been wearing this necklace. I'm charging this necklace in tonight's ceremony. This is green and pink tourmaline in sterling silver with Super 7 that has rose quartz in it. And this is for awakening your wisdom. Awakening love is what it's called, dependent. It's all in sterling silver, but it's oxidized. Isn't that pretty? So anyway, if you're a student, any purchase enters you to win either of these. And then if you're not my student, any purchase before midnight tonight enters you to win this. And I've got them both here in ceremony. So good luck. You could get the new moon in Sagittarius set. There's a lot of other really awesome things at sagegoddess.com. So happy shopping. That will wake you up. I thought this wand was gorgeous because you've seen my ring that we did like this, which is one of my favorite rings. It's a scarab that's done in sterling silver with labradorite and malachite, but we had them take one of the rings and put it around quartz to make a wand. So yes, good luck. Happy shopping. That ends at midnight tonight. There's no code. You don't have to put a note in your order. I'm just going to pick a winner tomorrow and validate your membership and go from there. So I'm glad you're here too. Did we have any other newbies tonight? Just want to make sure I say hi. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel before you leave because we do all kinds of fun things. Tomorrow we're doing something really fun called Aroma Talk, which is where Hanale and I talk to you about essential oils and herbs. And so there's always something happening on our YouTube channel, and we would love to have you there. You're new to the new moon ceremony. That's awesome. Like I said, every month we're here. It's my commitment. This will always be free and live. And so I love having your company. It's more special because you're here and you help me raise the energy. So I want you to take a breath with me and to light a little bit more sage. A new moon in Scorpio is about going deeper. And that's what tonight is. And for some of you, you're probably like, I'm tired. I don't want to go deeper. And I get it. How many of you feel like I'm tired and I don't have the energy to go deeper? It's kind of the mood right now. But here's the thing. Spiritual work is about going deep. And this is the last, in my opinion, of 2025. Which, by the way, hasn't really been anybody's favorite year. I hope it's been your favorite year, but it hasn't been mine. I'm ready for 2025 to go home. But I will say this is one of the last really, for me, powerful new moons this year for emotional healing and renewal. If you have any intentions around love, intimacy, sex, and sexuality, if you want to transform your relationship with yourself or with someone else, you're not going to get a better new moon for it in 2025. So is that on the menu for anybody? Talk to me about this, right? So let's say you're in a relationship, but it's not as passionate as you want it to be, or you've lost the spark. This is the new moon to set the intention to revive that. If you don't have an intimate relationship, but that's really something that you want to experience, this is the best of the last of the new moons to set an intention for attracting a love relationship if you want it, especially a physical, like an intimate partnership would be this energy. And then if you already have all of those things, I think this is a really good new moon to set intentions around expansion of those things, more love, more intimacy, going deeper with your partner, right? Bohemian girl, happy birthday. Yeah, Mercury is in the microwave again. We just love that when Mercury is not working with us. So we do have to keep that in mind as we move through these particular moon phases. But yes. Hope I didn't moon you just now. I'm trying to like sit appropriately. Okay. If I did, sorry, you're welcome. You just had your birthday on the 17th. Well, happy birthday to all of you. How many of you have big Scorpio placements? That's the sun, the moon, or the rising sign in Scorpio. How many of you have that? I do not. Yeah. You're going to feel this new moon a little more intensely than the rest of us. The rest of us are kind of like, oh, and of course it's pouring rain, and Scorpio is the deepest of all the water signs. So yeah, check on your Scorpio friends. This new moon has been a big one for them because Scorpios in general are going through a rebirth. You have been all year. In case you didn't notice, which of course you did. Scorpios are very self-aware. You're going through a rebirth. And it hasn't been incredibly painful, but it hasn't been easy on you guys either. Scorpios are tough. You're tough. You're emotionally tough. So it's like you can take it. But even for the ones who have had a tough time, or who are tough, you still are feeling the intensity of it, right? So this is your time, Scorpio, right? Things can look different. You can shapeshift. Scorpios teach us how to transform, and they're masters of it, right? This is all they do. Think of the snake. We have snakes here. We have 2 snakes at home. I love snakes. But even if you don't love snakes, think of what snakes do. They shed their skin. So Scorpios are constantly reinventing themselves. They tend to age a little differently. They tend to be more youthful than many of the other signs just because they're constantly exfoliating their energy. It's one of the reasons why they push people away and tune people out, because they're very, and back me up on this, Scorpio, y'all are very protective of your energy. right? Scorpios can tell when something's authentic, and they can totally tell when something's not authentic. And so one of the ways they protect their energy, because they're so deep, is they push back. Yeah, Jamie's here. Jamie, girl, you can talk to us about what this looks like. They push back. And it's really, we should watch them. Instead of judging it, we should go, oh, maybe I should do that when things aren't working, right? And part of it is Scorpios, because you go so deep, you push back because you don't want to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. It can get really dark. So when a Scorpio is pushing back, what a lot of us who understand astrology well and the nuances of it, what we recognize is like, let them be over there. You know what I mean? Give them a minute. They'll come back when their energy is either when your energy is better or when their energy is better. And that is basically my TED Talk on Scorpio and how you navigate the silence that comes when they need a minute. And we're all entitled to it, but Scorpio is just fucking powerful when it comes to saying, this is what I need right now. Can I talk to you about tools for tonight? So there was a set of tools. If you have it, great. If you don't have it, that's okay too. But if you don't have it, these are these smoky quartz and clear quartz spheres. They're from a super rare pocket of a mine where the smoky quartz forms points inside. It's like subtle layers, almost like a star. And so you'll see these smoky quartz lines in your spheres, and that's the remnants of that. And these are full of rainbows. If you don't have the kit, I would like for you to grab two things, okay? I would like for you to grab a sphere, because we're going to do a little energy work with sphere tonight, okay? A quartz sphere would be excellent if you have it, but a lot of the stones that you have quartz in them, so it doesn't have to be a quartz sphere. It could be a different stone. And then the other thing I want you to have for tonight, if you want to do this with me, again, totally up to you, I would like you to have some water. And I would like you to have an empty container, an empty glass too, because we're going to release energy. I like to release to the elements, and Scorpio is a water sign. So we're going to release energy tonight to water. I'm going to transfer it over to my chalice. This is a sodalite chalice. By the way, we still have sapphire chalices at sagegoddess.com, and they're 20% off right now. I don't know if Circe's here with us moderating. I don't know if you can grab that link, but while we still have gemstone chalices at Sage Goddess at crazy prices, you should get one. Happy birthday, Michael Lewis. Cheers to you. Oh, darling, I'm so happy to see you. Scorpio sun and moon. You're all the Scorpio all the time. So thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you on your birthday. Rose quartz is great. Clear quartz is great. Amethyst would be really good. Smoky quartz. But then a lot of other stones that you have quartz in the matrix, right? So like bloodstone would be okay. Anything that you feel called to, but go get it, and then go get some water. Again, you want one glass that's full of water and one that's empty, because what we're going to do is we're going to release. We're going to sip a little bit of water. So I'm going to pour it into this chalice to sip some after we are done releasing our intentions or releasing the energy that needs to be let go of. Silver sheen obsidian would be a fantastic sphere, even though it doesn't have quartz in it, because obsidian is hardened fire. And the Aztecs believed it was the most powerful stone for releasing. So I love that. No chalice on search. Maybe they sold out. In which case I'm happy for you, because those should have sold out. We had sapphire chalices for like $40 or something crazy like that. So if you have one, go get it. You need to use it. Okay. In your set of tools, you did receive a cauldron, cast iron cauldron, and some incense. I'm going to burn this. I know I burned some sage already, but I'm going to work with this as well. There's white sage in here. So this is an excellent clearing blend. There's also cedar. There's a whole host of magic in here. If you don't have the incense for tonight, just burn some white sage. You don't need a charcoal disc for this. So what you do is you just put it into the cauldron, take your lighter, and light it till it catches. I'll show you. That's kind of cool. Did you see? So it will catch. And then once it goes out, it will release. And I love this because you can take this to the sort of like we do in church too. It's a cauldron. but you can take it to the four corners of your space to clear the energy. You can keep this on your altar to burn your incense all the time, but we thought this was cool for Scorpio because Scorpio likes cauldrons and cast iron and all the deep magic. So if you have your cauldron and your incense, now's a good time to light that. Okay. Yes, you can. You know what? I welcome the questions, by the way. If there's time, I'm going to do some readings tonight too, because I pulled out my Ask and It Is Given Oracle deck for tonight, and which is a really powerful deck for how to manifest. So I have some cards I can read from too. I do make moon water as long as there's no eclipse. The eclipse is sort of my line in the sand for when I don't make moon water. So we don't have any eclipse activity right now. I think you're welcome to do it. Mercury is not so much going to affect your moon water or your tools, but Mercury is going to affect your energy and other people's energy, and it's going to affect. It's kind of cool to watch the smoke. Mercury is going to affect timing. It's going to affect negotiations and agreements. So we just don't want to make any big agreements while Mercury is retrograde if you can avoid it. Some things you can't avoid. I'm working on something and I have to sign something and I'm going to do it anyway. So I just always set an intention before I sign anything during Mercury retrograde that everything will unfold for my highest good and the highest good of all beings on the planet at this time. Amen. So it is. I love it. Okay, you've got your tools. I am burning the incense that came with, isn't that rad? It's very Scorpio. It's giving Scorpio. I'm burning the incense that came with your set of tools for tonight. But you can burn anything you would like to burn. Okay, so are you ready to do some good work together? I'm going to open the circle early just because Scorpios, some signs I'm like, I'll open the circle when we get deeper into things. Scorpio, the energy is like a magnet for, Scorpio attracts all of it. Scorpio attracts the light and the shadow. So I'm a little more diligent when the moon is in Scorpio. So our incense blends, you don't have to use charcoal because we add an incendiary agent called Mako powder. So it's self-lighting, and that's why you don't have to use a charcoal disc. So you attract it all. And so we just have to be a little more mindful, because one of the reasons we open circles in ceremony is that we don't necessarily know what kind of energy is coming through the portal that we create. And so we just want to make sure it's the highest, lightest, cleanest, clearest energy we can work with. Yay. Okay, so let's talk themes. Okay, because this is the theme both for what you're going to release, anything that's an obstacle to what I'm about to tell you, and then what you're going to call in, what you're going to set intentions to attract and magnetize. Okay. So number one is emotional rebirth. And this can be a big emotional rebirth, like completely transforming how you feel about people, places, things, and experiences in your life. This can also be a small emotional rebirth, right? Some part of your emotions, maybe you've been carrying around emotions that are overwhelming you, are too dense or heavy for you. Maybe you're carrying around other people's emotions. Have you ever stopped and thought, I'm not a sad person. Why am I feeling sad all the time? Or I'm not an angry person. Why am I feeling angry all the time? And when that happens, our energy fields are all connected. You know this. And so you can be standing next to someone in the grocery store. You can be working with a coworker at the office and merging energy with them and picking up on their energy. And people like to release their energy, but they don't know how to do it. So they just release it like in the living room, or they just release it in the parking lot, and energy always finds a host. So there's a lot of, it's almost like catching a cold, right? Somebody sneezes and you're dealing with all the germs and bacteria. Energy is kind of the same way, right? So, and yes, you can set intentions for physical rebirth too. Scorpios are good at that too. Scorpios are water, so I tend to go toward emotions. But they're not an earth sign, which is more about the physicality. But here's what I'm going to tell you. And again, Scorpios, I want you to check me on this one. I think Scorpios, of all of the water signs, it's a big statement. You ready? I think you guys are the most grounded. I really do. I don't think you're the most sane. I don't. But I think you're the most grounded. I really, really do. Scorpios, because Scorpios, they don't wear rose-colored glasses. Cancers do. Pisces do. You know, Pisces are embodied inner children. Pisces are, that's why we love them, right? Cancers are embodied adolescents in many cases, right? Cancers are sort of still in their emotional development phase. Scorpios are like the crones of the water family. When I'm with Scorpios, I always feel like I'm dealing with really old souls who've just been there, done that, and they are so dialed in to every single person around them and their motives and their thoughts. They're mind readers, and it's uncomfortable if you're not used to it. I actually like it, but because they see everything, they walk into a room and they just know what they're walking into. Nothing catches Scorpio by surprise. They sometimes wish they weren't so right about everybody, right? So I know it is a mastery and it is not easy, and y'all do it well and you carry it well. But I'm telling you, Scorpios are evolved. While they're learning to step into that evolution, they can be really vengeful and shitty. But when they mature into their wisdom, they have very much like almost like a grandfatherly, grandmotherly awareness about them, and I truly appreciate it. They're also extremely engaged in the mystery, so nothing scares them. Darkness doesn't scare them. Mystery doesn't scare them. So it's kind of nice because you can't overwhelm Scorpio, and that's why I appreciate them so much. Because all the other signs, you can overwhelm them, right? Not Scorpio. They're going to overwhelm you before you overwhelm them, but they do. They protect themselves very well. So here's a question for you to guide your intention setting for tonight. Where do you need to go deeper in your life, and how can you go deeper? Where and how, and maybe with whom? So you might say, well, professionally, I can go deeper, right? Or personally, I could go deeper, or I'm in this situationship, but I would like it to be a relationship, so that could go deeper. Or I've been married for 100 years and I feel like I want to have a rebirth in my partnership, and that could go deeper, right? So where, how, when, and with whom can you go deeper? And then again, and I think it's aligned to this end of the end of the year too. What are you really ready to let go that emotionally overwhelms you? What's just too much? One of the things I've really learned now that I'm squarely in my 50s is I don't have to do it all, and I don't have to do it all today, and I don't have to do it all for other people. So that energetic emotional boundary tonight of just like, take your time, slow down. Scorpios take their time. Think about scorpions, right? They can run, but they're actually very strategic, right? Scorpions plan where and how they move, right? And they will hide and move into pockets and stuff. They take their time waiting for the right moment, because they sting, they have to be accurate. And so think about accuracy, think about intentionality, think about being a little bit fearless, right? Because if you get yourself into a situation that's challenging, you can run. They are fast. One time, my favorite scorpion story, because where I live, there's a lot of scorpions. So one night when I was a teenager, you get up in the middle of the night to go pee. I'm sitting going pee, and I look down, and you know how like you're tired, so you're like not really seeing clearly. Like I look down and I'm like, that looks like a scorpion. And then I'm like yawning, and I look back down and I'm like, that's a fucking scorpion. And here's my 2 feet, and here's the scorpion. So I don't think I've ever run that fast in the middle of the night. And then my other favorite scorpion story is when the kids were little, we lived in a house that had this huge palm tree, and they were going to cut the palm tree down because it was blocking their view. And so the neighbor came to us and said, there's a scorpion nest in this tree. So when we cut it down, there may be like a huge, like, ocean of scorpions. And so I remember thinking, like, this is really scary, like watching the tree come down and just thinking, where did all the scorpions go? And we never saw an ocean of scorpions, so they must have run the other way. But anyway, they are endemic to the area where I live, so you just learn to make peace with them. And then when your neighbor says they're going to cut down a tree that has a nest, you hope that they run the other way. So again, questions one more time. How can you go deeper, and also where and with whom? And then also emotional rebirth. Where do you need to have either a major or a minor rebirth in your life? So those are your questions. So I want you to have your sphere ready. Are you doing the water thing with me? Can we do it together? And then I will call in the directions. So we're going to release first. Actually, let me call in the directions now. Mostly just because I want to drum. You saw some in Arizona. I wonder if Arizona scorpions are worse than California. And then they're all the same, right? They're not all over the place in Southern California, but they're here. Yeah, I see you. Cheers. Thank you for being here. And again, if you are not able to join us live and you're watching the replay, glad you're here. So calling in, roll your shoulders back. Guides and the guardians of the East. This is the direction of air, new beginnings, new cycles, the new moon. In the East, they give us clarity of vision. They help us see what needs to be seen, especially when we can't see. That clarity is so good. So thanking the guides and guardians of the East, you are here. Welcoming in guides and guardians of the South. The South is the direction of fire. It's not the Scorpio direction, but it always reminds me of Scorpio because it's about releasing and death and transformation and rebirth. That's all in the South. So we're welcoming in all of those energies. Shedding what isn't serving us tonight. What do you not want to take into the holidays? And here's a bigger question, because we've got a month and a half left of 2025. What is absolutely not coming into 2026? Like, what is it? And, tonight's a good night to start setting that boundary. It's a big, juicy question, isn't it? There's parts of myself I'm not taking into next year. There's a couple of folks I'm not taking into next year. I may have to let my dog in a minute. So let's get clear about that, and thanking the guides and guardians of the South for being here. And then to the guides and the guardians of the West. That's the direction of water. This is Scorpio. And if you have big placements in the other water signs, Pisces, Cancer, tonight's going to resonate with you as well. In the West, it's about emotional healing, renewal. It's also about wealth and abundance, because water is the abundance element. Thank you for being here, guides and guardians of the West. And then to the north, guides and guardians of the element of earth. We turn to you for guidance, for grounding, for stability, for your patience with us, for safety, for comfort. So thanking the guides and the guardians of the north for being here. And then to the guides and the guardians of the spirit element. And that element, the fifth element, is what gives life to the other four. So we welcome you in for magic, serendipity, synchronicity, being in the right place at the right time, with the right people, the right intentions, trusting and allowing. The element of spirit is about divine timing too. So if timing is a thing for you right now, like you're feeling impatient, I really want to encourage you tonight to release that. My mantra has been this whole year, not my time, thy time, right? I focus on the what and I leave the how and the when to spirit. It's really important. So thanking the guides and the guardians of the spirit element for being here. So the circle is open. Guides and guardians from the east, the south, the west, and the north, from the above and the below are here. And together we say, Amen. Oh. So it is. Yes. Listen, I'm impatient. So you guys can say, oh, yeah, divine timing. I'm so happy for you. Like, I wanted everything yesterday. I'm a Leo sun and a Sag moon. Like, I'm not here to wait. So I've had to really learn, especially like I said, as I get older, it's not my time. There is a divine right order, and it isn't mine. And things go smoother, when we release that need to know how and when. But people are like, well, when is it going to happen? When am I going to find love? When am I this? When am I that? It's like, I don't know. Why don't you focus on the what and leave it to the cool kids to figure out the how and the when. Okay. Now we release. So I want you to save a sip of this to drink, okay? Because it's always important to taste your medicine. Like if you do honey ceremonies, did you do it with me for 11/11? You saw me eat the honey. It's got to taste your medicine. So I'm going to pour just a little bit of my water into the chalice to save, and then I'm going to clear with this. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths, and the exhale. So on the inhale, you're going to call in the thing you want to let go. And on the exhale, you're going to blow that breath into this chalice of water. And then after this, it's going to be really easy for me because it's like a river in my backyard. I'm just going to pour this out. And I always pour out to the east because that starts a new cycle. You can do whatever you want to do, but follow your intuition. But don't drink this water. This is becoming poopy water, right? This is where we're putting all the things we want to release. The good water's here. I have to remind myself that, like, oh yeah, don't drink that. This is, we're spitting out. We're not, and you actually can spit your releasing if you want. I just think the breath is a little more attractive to watch on camera. Do you really want to sit and watch me spit into this? And if you do, why? It's a little weird. Okay, so 3 things you want to release. And you could have done it last night too. Last night's the dark moon, and you can do it tomorrow night too. So if you're watching the replay and it's Friday, you're still well in the window. We have 48 hours to do moon magic. So, and I do this with you in the moment. So I'm trying to think, like, what do I really want to let go of? One of the things I'm really trying to release, and I think Scorpio is a good one to do this around, is people pleasing. I'm a Libra rising, and I find myself even now in my life, like, trying to make sure everybody's happy. And the reality with humans is that, like, you can't make everybody happy, right? So I'm going to release trying to make everybody happy because I want to transform around that. So blow it into the cup. If you're Scorpio rising, you're like, I don't care if people are happy, which is great. I'm so happy for you. That's so great. And I'm also with this new moon. What else am I releasing? Because again, I'm thinking, what do I not want to take into 2026? I love scarcity mindset from Sharon, right? So let's let go of lack. Let's let go of the feeling that we don't have enough, or we aren't enough, or we can't have enough. Let's let go of that together. So, and then my big one, because what holds me back a lot is fear, which probably sounds funny, but it's like what if, what if, what if? So I want to release that because I'm a bold person. I make bold decisions and bold moves. So I'm going to release tonight any fear of my own power and strength and the decisions that I make. Cheers. Did you release? And again, you can spit if you want. I'm not watching. Although one of these days we should do this on Zoom so that I am watching and I can see you spit. I have balls of steel. I don't really have balls, but if I did, they'd be huge and they'd be made of steel, which is probably why I don't have them. I've thought about this before. Can you tell? Such a Leo thing to say. Like, if I had balls, would they be big? Yeah, they would. What would they be made of? Concrete. Oh, I like that one. Let me do one more because Ms. Kitty just said, let's release injustice and cruelty in the world. Let's do a global one for collective consciousness. So, injustice and cruelty in the world. I love that. Let's release that. 2025 can keep all of that. Okay, now we're going to set our intentions and we're going to blow our intentions into the water and then we're going to drink the water. Sound good? Thank you. Thank you for that. I see you, Sam. Okay. So I want you to grab your sphere. I want you to hold your sphere in your left hand and cover it with your right hand. Okay. Do you have your sphere? Okay. So now I want you to bring your full awareness. Don't pay attention to me. Don't pay attention to the feed for just a minute. What do you want to call in? I always work in threes. You can call in 10 things if you want, but the universe functions well with direction. So what are 3 energies or experiences or emotions that you want to call in? Again, the more aligned they are to Scorpio, the more we call it well aspected, right? So the more likely your intentions are to come to fruition in the next lunar cycle. So again, that's going to be sex and sensuality, transformation, mystery, magic, depth. It's all about deep emotions, deep feelings, deep connections, all of those things, right? So balance and power too. I like that. Thank you for that. Okay, so I want you to, again, focus on the sphere, focus on the energy of the sphere. You can gaze into it if you want, but you can just also hold it in your hands. And so what spheres do, when you send energy into them, they radiate that energy in all directions because of the shape. A generator is a point, right? So a generator creates a tight loop of energy. A wand sends and receives energy. A sphere is like a beacon, and because it doesn't have a top or a bottom, it's a continuous radiation of the energy. And so I want you to send through your hands the energy of your intentions. You can blow it with your breath, what you want to call in. So calling in expansion, sovereignty. And again, you got to frame this one positively. You don't want to say, I'm calling in no stress. You want to say, I'm calling in peace. Do you see the difference? You want to call things in as if you are already experiencing them, already enjoying them. Okay. Quartz is good because it's going to magnify. So for me, I'm calling in depth and intensity in my relationships. I'm calling in alignment. And Scorpios are very focused. I'm calling in focus. I'm calling in connection to passion You know, sometimes we get burned out. So it's sort of like I'm calling in just a continuous fountain of energy around my passion, my desire. Presence is lovely too, Paisley. I like that. Because Scorpios are they're very present, and they also carry a presence. They're very charismatic. So you can sort of think of it in both of those ways. Okay, you feeling like you've got it? Now, the other stones in your set that came with you tonight, by the way, and you can set this up as a grid, right? So you would put stones at the 4 directions. This is topaz for protection. So if any of your intentions have to do with protection, you want to hold that stone for a minute. Snowflake obsidian is for cleansing and releasing and integrating your shadow. And you have melanite garnet, which is also for protection, but this is for deep grounding. It's an African garnet, and it's one of my favorites. And then this is heliodor, which is yellow beryl. It's yellow aquamarine. And so if you have any intentions around empowerment, strength, confidence, self-esteem, this is your ally in that work. Heliodor, the Greek god of the sun, is Helios. And so that's where the name comes from. So anything related to, again, light, expansion, beauty, power, magnetism, charm, all of those things, Heliodor is a great stone ally for that work. Yeah, and it's totally true, right? The topaz is your November birthstone. I think that's why Scorpios love it so much. So you can totally set this up as a grid to hold the intention or intentions that you're creating with me tonight. Okay, so you ready? So we blow the breath across of it, and now my chalice perfectly holds my sphere. It's almost like a sphere stand. So I'm just transferring the energy of my intentions from the stone to the water. And then 3 sips. And as you take each sip, again, you're going to focus on the 3 intentions that you set for tonight. And as you take the sip of the water, imagine calling those energies into your body. So intention 1. And I like water best. You can do it with anything, but water holds frequency. So there's nothing but just pure water in here. Some people are like, can I do tea? Yes, you can, because again, it's mostly water. Can I do wine? It's not going to hold the frequency the same way that water will. So I would just really encourage you to just work with really good pure water for this. Intention 2. And now you're taking that energy in almost on a cellular level, right? So imagine it like washing over your body, washing over your internal organs, that your whole body, your cells start to vibrate with this energy. Sip number 3. Now I'm going to drum for 1 minute, okay? While I'm drumming, I want you to ask yourself what your life would be like, or if it would be different, how would it be different if all of these things were already here for you? You had divine alignment, you had peace, you had balance, you had strength, you had tenacity, you had, passion, you had connection. What would be different? And I want you to visualize that, again, as if it's already happening while I drum for you. And I want you to hold the vision. Just for 60 seconds. Make it as clear, crystalline as you can. Because the more clear your vision is, the more you're aligning with those energies. It just makes it easier for them to find you. Oh yeah. Grape juice has water in it. Wine does too. Let's use your intuition. And then just be in gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you for energies already on their way. Thank you for transformation. Thank you for love. Thank you for passion. Thank you for clarity. Thank you for focus. Thank you for power and empowerment. I'm in a home. That's good stuff, y'all. Proud of you. Proud of you. You're doing the work. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And that's a big part of it too, right? Surrendering to the process. Because so many times, again, I'm a type A double fire, like I'm gonna go and do it. I don't need anybody's permission. You can't stop me, right? But there's also this really beautiful medicine around like slowing down, letting the universe take its time, trusting that things are falling into place, and surrendering to the process. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so I told you I was gonna try to read cards for you tonight, and we have a few minutes. So while we're in this gorgeous circle and it's open, would you like a card? Again, I chose this deck because I feel like it's really aligned to manifestation, and the new moon is all about the intentions as signposts to the universe. Like, hey, I want to go here. Hey, I want to take a turn here. I want to take a U-turn, right? Yay! I'm glad you're here. I'm so happy. Okay, let me see. I'm just going to get to as many people as I can with the time that we have. All right, Colin's there. Hi, Colin. It was cool having last night's class at the dark moon. I loved your post. That was the right time to do that work, I think, too. So for Colin, this is a cool card. My emotional set points can be changed. Your set points are achieved by attention to a subject. It's about deliberately setting your vision, which is so perfect for tonight, right? So once you expect something, it will come. The details of it may play out differently, but the vibrational essence will always be an exact match. So it's about aligning your emotions to your intentions and your vision, which is awesome. All right, Becky Love. I think this is going to become a saying for us. Don't you put your shitty ingredients in my pie. I won't put those unwanted ingredients in my pie. By the way, Scorpios are good cooks because they're alchemists. Alchemists are always good cooks. Says, imagine yourself as a chef in an extremely well-stocked kitchen where there are many ingredients that are not appropriate for your creation. You simply utilize the ingredients that will enhance your creation, and you leave the ingredients that are not appropriate for your pie. Please tell me you love that card as much as that needs to become a meme. Okay, Tamara Sanchez, hi. Let's see which card is coming up for you, cutie pie. Again, thank you so much for spending your new moon with me, you guys. I always am grateful. Here you go. First, I reach for joy, and everything else follows. Once you consciously identify your current state of emotion, isn't this true? It becomes easier for you to understand whether you are choosing thoughts that move you closer to your destination or farther from your destination. It's a lot about emotional state tonight, which I think is very Scorpio, right? Like, serious question to you. Do you know how you feel and do you know what you want? I mean, sometimes I'm not sure, right? Like sometimes I don't know how I feel and sometimes I don't know what I want. And I'm mindful not to do too much magic when that's the case, because if you're not aware of your emotional state, then you really don't understand the vibrational frequency that you're sitting at and you don't know what you're going to attract. So it's important to time it. Thank you for that, Jeanette. By the way, I love having you here. Lydia says, can I have some guidance? My heart isn't in my job anymore. Yeah, let's take a look. Okay, Lydia. What does she need to know about her job? Nothing happens without my having invited it. When you understand the law of attraction, you are never surprised, this is the back of the card, by what occurs in your experience. Nothing can occur in your life without your invitation of it through your thoughts. That's a tough sort of truth to sit with. But here's how I read that for you professionally, okay, is if you want something new, you're going to have to start thinking about it and focusing on it. And then again, we go back to like the trust the timing piece for the universe, right? Like you focus on the what and you leave the how and the when to the chauffeur, which is the universe. Okay, let's see. Where am I going? Natalia B, there you are. Hold on, I see you, Natalia. Let's see what's coming up for you tonight. What if Source were standing in my physical shoes? Like it's kind of a what would Jesus do card. It is not your job to make something happen. Your work is simply to determine what you want. I'm not making this up. Look, it's what I've been telling you all night. And so if Source was standing in your shoes, our attention would be upon bringing ourselves into alignment with the desires and preferences that we have launched. We would, because the card is like as if Source is speaking to you. We would consciously feel our way into alignment. In other words, you can't say, I really want love, and then go through your life feeling and experiencing the opposite of it. For yourself, with yourself, right? And I'll tell you this too, is this is a very Scorpio lesson. If you manifest something from a low vibration, you're not going to want it anyway. It's better to wait. You know what I mean? Especially in love. Hi, Casey. Casey McKenna's there. I do see you. Let's see which card is coming up for you. I could sit here all night and pull cards for you, by the way. It's one of my favorite things to do at moon rituals because I feel like the wisdom is really accurate. Success is about the joy I feel. When you are genuinely thrilled by someone else's success, that means you're on the right track of your own. Success is not about getting it done. The measure of success in life is not the attainment of the money or the stuff. The measure of success is absolutely the enormous joy you feel. So if it's not making you happy, is it really making you successful? They're pretty, right? Okay. I love them too. Okay. Where am I going now? Okay, Sue Thompson. And then I'm going to pull a collective card for all of us. This is one of my favorite songs that's on right now. It's called All Related by Nessie Gomez. Have you heard this song before? If you haven't, especially under a Scorpio New Moon, I would love for you to just pull it up on YouTube and listen to it. She's got the voice of an angel. The story I was told about this album is that she and her team went on, I think it was a boat, together, her band, and did plant medicine ceremony and recorded the whole album in a very short period of time. You can really feel it in the music, in my opinion. So, okay. Sue Thompson. Let's see what's coming up for you. There is evolutionary value in my personal preferences. Do not underestimate the value of your preferences. What you want, right? For the evolution of your planet depends upon those of you on the leading edge of thought continuing to fine-tune your desires. I always tell you this. Your desires are super magic. they're given to you for a reason, right? Wanting a person leads you to a relationship, which leads you to everything else you create. Wanting, to open a store or to start a business or to work a certain place leads you to meet people and have experiences that ultimately puts you on your path, right? So, and the contrast or variety provides the perfect environment for the formation of your personal preference. So I take this too as like lean into more of what you want. And some people feel guilty doing that, but it's like really what you want. Rumi always says, right? What you seek is seeking you. What you want is actually an indicator of where you need to be. So listen. It's funny. I was laying in bed last night and I had a hard time falling asleep. So I started to meditate. And I could not, because it's a busy time of year, I just could not slow my mind down. So I'm going to pull a card just a minute, but can I tell you what came to me? Because I thought it was really helpful and maybe it will help you too. I kept hearing, quiet your mind, shut it down. Because if you don't control your thoughts start to control you. And you can't hear the voice of your higher self or your wisdom or your intuition when your mind is like going like this all the time. So I really was very conscious last night about like when thoughts were coming in, I would notice it and then release it. And then another thought would come in and I would just notice it and release it. And I tried to get as quiet as I could. And my intuition was very accurate when I got quiet enough to listen. Again, Scorpios know this, right? Scorpios are the ones of all of us, of the 12 signs, they're the ones that are closest to the spirit world. So this is good insight. But yeah, it's just a reminder. It's like tell your mind to, who's the boss? Okay, ready for your card? This is our card too. It's my card. It's Circe's card. So, and it's your card too if you're watching the replay. So I would love to hear your thoughts, especially if you're watching the replay. Like, does this resonate with you? Look at it. It's not easy, There is nothing that you cannot be, do, or have. And we want to assist you in achieving that. But we love where you are right now, even if you do not. Because we understand how joyful the journey to where you want to go will be. Did that land with you the way it landed with me? I know. A little teary on that one. That hit the feels hard. It's funny. I was talking to someone today about kids. And it's so true, right? And I have really tried to stop and slow myself down and remember, like sometimes when the house is just so noisy or it's so messy and so dirty and there's stuff everywhere. And I'm trying to slow down and remember, my son's already an adult. My daughter's on the heels of it. And like when the house is quiet and when there isn't stuff everywhere and when there isn't noise, like I don't like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, just be with the things that drive you crazy because believe it or not, a lot of it is still stuff you'll miss, right? Oh, this life, isn't it so crazy? You teach first graders. So what happens, I'm sure come like May, you are so ready to see those kids at the door for summer. And then summer break comes and you're like, kind of miss that one, right? Like I will love where I am right now. You know what my teacher says, which is even harder and kind of shittier to hear? Not only are you supposed to love where you are right now, but you're supposed to behave as if it's everything you want and you wouldn't change a thing. You can set intentions, but the universe goes, is she grateful right now? Because some of the stuff she wanted. She may not like it now, but she asked for this. Love it like you asked for it while you wait for what's next. So thanking and releasing all the guides and the guardians, thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the spirit element, thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the north for grounding, protection, stability, presence. I know it's hard. Thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the west, thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the south. And last but not least, thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the east. Thank you. Well, these are crazy times, and I'm very grateful for our community. If you're new, by the way, I hope you'll keep staying with us and coming to ceremonies, and maybe think about joining me for online classes. It's we have a really remarkable crew of people from all over the world, and it honestly, like when you come and attend these ceremonies, I just want to be in deep gratitude to you. We couldn't do it without you. I wouldn't want to do it without you, and we've been doing it for a long time. So cheers. And so the last bit of magic for tonight is the release of this water. Please release it. I like to release it back to the earth. So I like to go outside, and I like to release in the east. So for me, that is west is this way because the ocean is right out that window. So the east is here. So I usually just go right outside to the east. And like tonight it's raining, so I'll just go and pour it into the river of water. You can flush it. Yeah, you can. I mean, you just no drinking of this. My thing is get it out of your hands. Somebody said, "Can I feed my plants with it?" And I was like, "No, please don't feed your plants this water. If you wouldn't drink it, don't give it to your plants." Yeah, so just pour it out the window, pour it down the down the toilet, whatever. Get it outside. Don't pour it on anybody, and don't drink it. Don't consume it. That's all you have to do. And thank you for being here. So if you subscribe to this channel, I'm going to be live with you tomorrow at 3:00 right here with Hanalei, who is the resident mixologist and alchemist at Sage Goddess. We've got a lot of fun surprises for you, bath and body and all kinds of beautiful things. And then I really want to encourage you because the new moon kit is so rad for next month. It's my moon in Sag. So we have your kit. It is the Sage Goddess Rebel Soul. And so we have a little deck for you. It's our Sage Goddess Rebel Soul Oracle cards that you'll get. Plus you'll get the candle. You get the body and hair mist. And you guys are going to lose your mind over the scent. It is pink peppercorn with cherry and sandalwood and a little bit of yuzu, which is yuzu is sort of like bergamot. It's a sharp citrus, but it's very powerful for manifestation. And then your flash tattoos. And so Circe's got the link for you. You can go to the website and get that if you would like it. And again, if you're a student in programs and you're shopping, congratulations. And you have a little special little discount code just for you over in your email and in your Facebook group. So make sure you're checking that. And we will see you tomorrow right here on YouTube at 3:00. Thank you, Circe, as always, for being my moderator in chief. Very grateful for her leadership in our community always. And thank you to you. Thank you for your faith, and thank you for being a wise person on the planet at this time because you make it easier to be here. We'll see you soon. Everybody have a great evening.